I thought about making an in-depth guide on a champion that I have been seeing a lot of success within the past few weeks, and I think that now that a lot of the meta junglers are getting nerfed, that this champion will be amazing in solo queue. Not so sure about competitive. So without further ado, I will give you maximum input and information on this jungler I have been spamming the last few weeks, and hopefully you can incorporate this jungler into your playstyle. To start off, we'll go over his kit because his abilities are actually more non-simplistic than most champions are. So for his passive, Eternal Thirst, Warwick's basic attacks deal bonus magic damage. If Warwick is below half health, the bonus damage heals him for the same amount. So this is really good for your clear, as it allows you to not run armor, and people now take scaling HP on him. And also it really helps you to kill squishies faster. For his Q, Jaws of the Beast, active, Warwick lunges forward and bites his target, healing for some of the damage dealt. Holding down the key locks onto the target, causing Warwick to leap behind them. So if you know someone's about to flash or use their escape, you get to hold your Q and you get to lock down right behind them, so it's really good. And you can also his W, Blood Hunt, is probably the most interesting ability about his kit. So passive, enemy champions with less than half health leave behind a global blood trail, leading to them and are blood hunted. Warwick has increased attack speed against blood hunted targets and massively increased out of combat movement speed when moving towards them. These bonuses are tripled against enemies with a very low health, so this is like probably the best ability in the game for counter ganks, as when people go for kills, they are left often crippled in health, and this allows you to just run them down whenever you want. Active, briefly reveals blood trails leading to all champions in a large radius, even if they have full health. The nearest champion is then blood hunted. Blood Hunt's active has a long cooldown but cools down twice as fast while no enemies are being hunted. So early game the cooldown is a bit longer, but the active allows you to look for ganks too. So not only are you reliable for counter ganks, your ganks are also really good. Your E is Primal Howl. Active, Warwick takes reduced damage for a short duration. At the end of the duration, or if activated again, Warwick howls, causing nearby enemies to flee in fear. So you have an AoE fear, which is really nice. Any champion with CC is appreciated. And finally, his ultimate Infinite Duress. Warwick leaps in direction and suppresses the first champion he collides with, dealing damage and applying on-hit effects throughout the duration. The leap's distance increases based on Warwick's movement speed, and he heals for all damage he deals during Infinite Duress. Warwick is immune to crowd control effects during the leap, so this ult is actually really good. Only issue is that it is a skill shot, so it allows you to build Tabai over Mercs similar to Hecarim, where your ultimate just disables all incoming CC. Another thing to take into consideration is the fact that since you're going to put 3 points into W, I'll go over the skill coverage later, you get a way longer leap the more movement speed you have. And when you have 3 points in W, your R gains so much more range, and this allows you to surprise your enemies. As far as the skill order goes, I'd recommend putting Q level 1, W level 2 to clear your camps faster, E level 3, and then you'll take 2 extra points in W, so you have 3 points in W, then you'll max your Q, and then you'll max your E. So this is just the best early game possible. Your ganks are really reliable. You'll do a bit less damage without your Q, but you'll also be less tanky, but in the end, your goal as a jungler is to pick the correct fights and the correct counter ganks, so this is probably the best skill order you can go with. Alright, so now we'll go over runes and masteries, which is pretty standard. His reds are AD, so you'll have 8.5 AD. Yellows are scaling HP, but you can also run a few armor or armor per level if you want. Blues should be 5% flat CR level 1 and then 5% level 18, because you'll be building 30% worth of items in CDR, and then your quints are attack speed. For masteries, you'll be running 18, 0, and 12. You'll be taking 5 points into Fury for the attack speed. You can also take Sorcery, but I honestly prefer attack speed because I go Red Smite. You'll go, obviously, Fresh Blood. You can have a few points into Vampirism to have some extra healing, but if you want maximum early game damage, you'll go 5 points in Natural Talent. And then you can either take Battle Trance or Double-Edged Sword. I personally take Battle Trance because I like being a frontliner. And then this is where it gets kind of complicated. Instead of taking Battering Blows, you'll be taking Piercing Thoughts, which is the magic penetration, because your Q and your ult both are magic dealing abilities, so the magic pen allows you to just penetrate through your opponents when you use those spells, and then you'll get Fervor of Battle, of course. As for the Resolve tree, you'll get Unyielding or Recovery. I personally go with Unyielding because I build really tanky, and then Tough Skin. Finally, Runic Armor 5 points, and then Insight. As far as item builds go, I've come with 2 variations. There is the tankier Warwick and the DPS Warwick, which is kind of like a Hecarim style build. But for the most part, every game you'll start off with a Machete, Retrieve Bead, and then you'll just rush your team out because it helps you tremendously with your Raptors and Krugs, as those are AoE camps, and Warwick has no AoE spells. But yeah, once you've got your team out, the first item you want to go for is your Red Smite, or you can obviously go for Blue Smite or Green Smite, but honestly, since it's solo queue, you can 1v2 with Red Smite. I would recommend going Red Smite. It just makes you so much more tanky overall. In combination with your E, you take so much reduced damage, but yeah. After that, you'll get your Ninja Tabi. Unless you do not know how to dodge CC properly, you can go for Merc Treads, but Ninja Tabi are super broken. And then after that, you'll upgrade your Cinder Hulk. And then this is where it gets tricky. You can either go for Frozen Heart or with Gauntlet. Both items provide 20% CDR and they're extremely cheap, so just depends what you're playing on. You have to pay into account what enemy champions are on the enemy team. If they have a Jace, Gauntlet is better. If they have a Lucian, I would say Frozen Heart's better, because champions like Jace don't rely on attack speed, whereas champions like Lucian do. And then after that, you get your Spirit Visage. That's your 30%, and then 10% for your Masteries. And then after that, you will upgrade your Titanic, and then you go into Thornmail or Randuin's, etc. Whatever you need. Even Jay is pretty good now. And now for the more DPS variant build for Warwick. This is similar to what Hecarim would build. Again, same start. You get your Tiamat, you get your Red Smite, you get your Boots, and then instead of going for a Cinderhulk upgrade, you get your Sheen, and then your Phage, and then you just upgrade your Trinity Force, and then the rest of the items are pretty much similar. I've had a lot of success with this variant because I like doing damage, and overall it's just way better. You get the same CDR, you're just a bit less tanky, and then you just want to have the most efficiency, the best early game possible, early to mid game. When you hit your Trinity Force, you have a huge power spike, and it's just overall, it just feels so good. But yeah, in conclusion, Warwick is a really good champion overall because he has hybrid damage, so it's really hard to itemize against him. You take the Magic, Penetration, Mastery, and Fervor, so it's just so much harder to understand what to build against him. He's easy to play. He only has one skill shot, which is his R. There's some forms of combinations where you can fear mid-air, you can fear while holding down Q, but honestly, those are really minimal. It doesn't really do much. There's 1 in 1 million situations where it'll win you a game, so you don't have to master those just yet. You can 2v1 early game, 1v2, sorry, and this is huge. As a jungler, when you see 2 enemy champions low, sometimes you can get outplayed, but for Warwick, it's so easy. You can secure objectives by suppressing the enemy jungler. You also have really good objective control, early game dragons and barons. You have the best counter ganks, as I've gone over many times. And yeah, I have many team fight scenarios I will go show you videos on. I'm just primarily setting myself up, I'm not getting a Ludo, speed upgrade, any shields, etc. And yeah, the Cinderhulk buffs just do so much, and I think in the new patch, Warwick will be one of the better junglers. So I hope this video helps you guys out, and let me know if you enjoyed this video. Leave a like, it took a lot of time to make, and yeah, love you guys, take it easy.